Okay, best of 5, let's go. Okay. This series, though, it's starting. It's a best of 3. It's a TvP. It's a winner's match. The winner goes through to the quarter-finals. To the bottom right-hand side, our Blue Terran. It is from Team Reciprocity. INnoVation, a convincing win over Impact earlier to start off this group, as we have in the top left side our Red Protoss player Stats from Splice. Just coming back from Home Story Cup. Good to see him already taking part in the Masters Coliseum today. So yeah, we get this underway, we get this started, and look to see what's going to happen. QuazDF in the chat says, 8 AM, what am I doing here? Yeah, enjoying some awesome StarCraft 2. I mean, how often is it you get to watch Stats and INnoVation fight off? These two, I actually cast these two quite a lot, especially for like YouTube casts, because they played a lot in the Lima League and so on. They really did have quite a bit of something between them, you know. Like there was, I feel like Stats and INnoVation was actually the creation of like that Raven push, and then countered by the single High Templar for the feedback. That was when I first saw it, at least, and it was something that these guys did against each other quite a lot. So yeah, pretty cool to see these guys going up against each other here in this group as well. Nice that we got this matchup, because obviously it's not guaranteed with these double elim groups. You know, it's not a round robin where everyone plays everyone. So it is nice to get this going, because obviously it is, yeah, it's. I think it's the match that people want to see when they see this group. You know, it is this group you want to see when. It is the game you want to see when this group kind of gets announced. Right, you're like, oh my god, INnoVation Stats. It's nice that we get it here in the winners match, and of course one of these will move through to the round of 8. INnoVation would look to become the second Terran player in the round of 8, while I believe Stats would become the 4th Protoss. There's STV. Scouts across the map as well, just confirms there is indeed an expansion here from Stats, nothing else too crazy, sort of cyber core timing. So INnoVation is very happy with when tech might be coming up, etc. And obviously, I mean, just no real reason to keep that SCV across the map. The probe, though, is kind of still hanging out over here and is moving forwards once again. Perhaps looking to try and find a bit of info, or perhaps just throwing down the pylon in the back here. Looks like it will be in that probe there. That's nice, actually, because these couple Marines didn't go that far over to shut that down. So that probe is going to remain hidden for a little while. Twilight Council about halfway done. The command center going to start morphing in towards the orbital here on the natural as well. Starport about halfway done also. Would remind again about to complete in a moment or two, as this starport is also just not too far away from finishing up here. So starport will be done in a few moments' time. There's a few more Marines just popping out. There's that blink upgrade, Chrono boosting on the Twilight Council as well. Luke Nukem streaming with the gifted sub to Sir Duke Nukem. Apparently we're not going to have a showdown, apparently we're just going to spread more love. Thank you so much for another gifted sub. Welcome Duke back to the stream for 5 months in total. Thank you for the gifted sub, appreciate it. As the hallucination coming around. Proxy gateway here from Stats, so looking to get extremely aggressive with the Stalkers, right? Good amount of Stalkers, going to be able to warp in aggressively. A Robo coming up so you can get a Warp Prism out for some Warp Pins and some Micro as well. Also even just a blink up into the main base, the high ground vision, right? Which is obviously going to be pretty important too. So, yeah, Stats set up pretty aggressively. In the meantime, INnoVation with a very typical kind of Widowmine drop here. So, Widowmine drop to kind of attack initially. We'll see if we can pick up much info with this, because that would be one of the big things getting through this main. And seeing what's going on. There's actually a third Nexus from Stats, so you'll have a third base up behind this as well. I am intrigued as Warpgate moves into warp in mode. I guess the Stalkers are still at home, so actually in the end, maybe not as much aggression as I was thinking from Stats. Maybe just wants to keep this gateway here until a bit later on. INnoVation, we'll see if he floats a CC down here though, so we shall see. Stats though still making probes as well, and he's getting to that point where he's going beyond the 2-base saturation, although only 3 gases, so I mean that does really mean he is just going beyond 2-base saturation, right? Because then he's got probes that are not even going to mine this gas. So he is looking to get this third base up and running. But yeah, only 3 gases for now means he is still very committed to kind of gateway units for the moment. Not too much tech coming down. Stalkers coming along the left-hand side. Windmine Drop's still alive. The pylon here will spot this again, so Stats has plenty of warning that it's coming in, but there's not that many Stalkers at home, so not allowed to actually deny this from him dropping in. INnoVation doesn't know that, however, so there's only so much you can do about it. Finally now, this attempt to blink up maybe getting set to go. The Raven helps to deflect the Observer, though. Still just has to be careful because you don't want them Stalkers to blink for the Raven, but that said, I think the Raven should be okay. A tank to protect as well. And I think the Stalkers are very limited in what they're actually going to be able to achieve here, so Stalkers turn back around out to the center of the map. Meanwhile, there we go. Observer setting up here from Stats in the center. Charge, +1 armor, 5 more gateways and an immortal all on the way out. I mean, Stats has got that free base up and running now, and INnoVation kind of is looking good, I think. And it seems like INnoVation is seemingly okay at the moment, as we do have this orbital moving over. He's obviously spotted this warp gate. Stats and Stalkers are going to try and make life difficult for him anyways. Find some SCVs transferring between bases here, so Stats able to pick up a couple of kills. The Raven's even going to throw down an auto turret. Gotta be very careful with that Raven, because again, you just don't want to target it down by those Stalkers. And that warp gate in the back, I mean. Just INnoVation needing to find a moment or two where he can really come across here and deny that with his units. Tank siege up here now makes it a bit easier to kind of hold this position. There's an Adept warping in to try and hold off these few Marines trying to take down the gateway. Stalkers actually blink forwards for the siege tank here, and they will get in. The Raven goes down as well. What a catch by Stats. A tank and a Raven, I mean, cost him a few Stalkers, but obviously very critical units here for INnoVation. Both the tank is something which he very much so will rely on usually to push forwards with. The Raven is obviously a huge loss because that's got so much utility for this early game. So yeah, big pickoffs here to get things going. As you see these Marines picking up across. Oh my god, the Widow Mines across the map. This medevac has been around for such a long time. And as he is going to get out of here alive, he will still be around. So 11 probes go down. Wow, nice kind of revenge punch. Or returning punch from INnoVation. Able to, well, put Stats into a bit of a weird spot again, because Stats I think was doing very well killing off units here, but losing 11 probes does dent his economy a little bit and maybe gives INnoVation a little bit to recover now. So good play. I mean, I even myself as the observer completely forgot about this medevac, so that was really nicely done there. And especially as Stats was being aggressive as well, right? Like, it's when you're not really expecting those Widow Mines to come in, and that's when they have the most effect. And Stats already has a 4th base built and a 5th. And it's really not slowing down in that regard. I am just a bit worried about the army composition though. I mean, this is still just 4 Mortals, Stalkers, Sentries and Zealots. There's no splash damage in this army of Stats, and he's actually down an upgrade. He has no attack upgrade on his army either. The Stalkers are bruised and the SCVs are being pulled. I think it's a hell of a decision from INnoVation, because it's a point where I really think Stats is very weak, and well, here we go. The first force field's coming down. Tanks will siege up. The Stalkers blink, so they're committed in. I mean, the SCVs continue to come through. INnoVation with those SCVs to help him kind of tank a lot of the damage now. He's going to keep on pushing forwards here. The Immortals are starting to drop down as well. The Zealots also starting to fall, and that's going to be the big issue. If there's no Zealots up, this Bio army will overwhelm, and INnoVation remains with about 80 army supply against the 10 army supply of Stats. No splash damage or anything along those lines available means that INnoVation does very comfortably here take down a game number 1 in this best of 3. End the game right here and now. In the top left hand side, our blue Terran player from Team Reciprocity, and up 1-0 we have got INnoVation. Up against the red Protoss from Splice in the bottom right, it's Stats. Looking to bounce back here on Thunderbird for map number 2. Again, from King's Cove to Thunderbird, we're seeing some of the larger maps here once again. This map's a bit more difficult for the Terran player to attack on, because of course we've got these 3 bases where there's only really 1 ramp to attack up into it. At least on King's Cove, you've got a couple different ramps. But even kind of like the 4th base here, depends which you take. But even this base here has less kind of... It's hard to get down into it because there's a lot more chokes compared to like the open 4th of King's Cove. So, and even then if you kind of take the setback 4th, I mean, it's a similar idea, right? It's hard to attack it. So, it's kind of a map which is maybe a bit stronger for the Protoss compared to King's Cove, simply for those reasons, if nothing else. Stats moving into the main of the probe, so have a little bit of a look to see what's going on here initially. Reducing stim timing is going to make these pushes so powerful. I don't think the stim timing is really going to affect pushes like that all too much. What stim really allows you to do is transition into bio from an opening more easily. The thing is though, bio still needs kind of like medevacs to sort of support it, right? And it still needs more than just stim. It needs like +1 and other upgrades too. You know, this is a situation where stim wasn't going to, you know, make that attack come any faster. I mean, maybe you could have put on some more pressure a little bit sooner, but I still think that a lot of the time you're limited by the medevac timing. I mean, obviously maybe we'll see builds change in general. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know. I feel like the thing is, if you open pure bio and TvP right now, you're in kind of a bit of trouble because you just don't apply enough pressure to the Protoss. Now, if stim timing is a bit faster, you can force the Protoss to be a bit more defensive against a stim opener, right? But then, even then, imagine you now open like a 1-1-1 setup. It just means your defense can be a little bit stronger at home as well. Like your stim comes up a bit sooner. You can hold on to counterattacks a bit more easily, or you can get on the map again a bit more easily. I don't know. I'm interested to see how it plays out. It's very hard to... It's a very hard kind of change to discuss without seeing it in play, because it's one of those changes that's actually just going to change the way that players play the game. It's going to change build orders completely, right? Like, it could completely change the entire meta, so... Yeah, anyways. But, like, I saw someone being like, man, how is Zerg ever going to hold a 2-1-1 attack? But, I mean, the 2-1-1 is actually not really isn't really affected by the timing of stim. The 2-1-1 goes across the map as soon as medevacs are ready. So, I don't think it makes the 2-1-1 timing any better unless you can find the medevacs 20 seconds earlier as well, right? So, yeah, it's tough to call because I don't know how, like, 20 seconds is a big deal in certain ways, but I feel like for a lot of the Terran aggression, it doesn't necessarily change too much. Anyways, that's proposed balance changes. They're not confirmed just yet. As you see these Stalkers having a bit of a tough time. The first Marines were heading into some fog of war, and because of that, they were definitely in some trouble. A pylon here warps into more Stalkers, shutting down Hellion reinforcements. Altogether here, Stats is doing a pretty good job of dealing damage to this army. Again, the line of sight blockers there, causing the Stalkers to have to dive pretty hard. He's going to get a second Hellion kill now. Another Stalker warping in. 2 Stalkers, 3 Stalkers warping in, actually. Oh, INnoVation's in trouble. The bunker's not ready. The Marines were too far forwards, and Stats is just going to leap on this opportunity. 3 gates, not even a proxied gateway. And, I mean, these Stalkers are just running through already. These last couple of Marines are going down before the bunker is done. Okay, I mean, maybe this one, no, it doesn't get in the bunker either. And this is a lot of SCVs dropping. All of a sudden, Stats is just going to be across the map and killing INnoVation. Just a lot of early game Stalkers, not much else. And, well, INnoVation has a tank on the high ground, and he's still rallying SCVs to the low ground, though, so that's painful. Supply depot here. Oh, he's actually going to get the... Well, the bunker's going to go up. Oh, he attacks his own Stalker rather than hitting the bunker. And the repair on the bunker is going to be good. Oh, my God. Well, I mean, he will lose more SCVs still because, of course, the Stalkers can just sit here and target down SCVs. Going to go for the siege tank now, and he will get the tank as well. I mean, this has just gone from bad to worse for INnoVation. Completely fallen apart here in this game number 2 at the moment. At least an over-tank is up. Stats will be forced at least to transition, but man, INnoVation took so much damage here. Obviously, using the Raven energy as well puts him into a very bad spot because now the Raven has much less it can do when you go across the map aggressively. So yeah, this is really, really good at the moment for Stats. Hell of a start with a 3rd base up on the way. Even goes, I mean, he knows how far ahead he is. Goes into Double Forge, Robo Facility. You know, continue to probe up in towards the 3 bases as well. All of that just coming up from that kind of early trading off with the Stalkers and the Marines, etc. A lot happened very quickly there, so... couple of tanks popping out from INnoVation. They're going to press towards the top of this ramp. Third CC from INnoVation on the way down. Bringing tanks over, will get rid of this pylon at least. It actually does supply block stats until the third Nexus finishes, so it's quite nice. Again, Blink continuing to be chrono boosted here as a couple of probes going down. Order turret in the main. So using the Raven for harassment rather than like a larger push is very interesting. I mean, he is going for a larger push. INnoVation actually does have an army supply lead right now, and there is not shield batteries set up defensively. Is INnoVation just going to counter and kill stats? I mean, there is potential here. Bunkers will start to build in a moment too. The tank fire is very good originally as well. I mean, 2 of the Stalkers on the right get hit, 1 of the Stalkers on the left dies. And more bunkers coming up. Now there's going to be 3 siege tanks here. Oh no, Stats in a little bit of trouble. He kind of thought he could get away with so much, but maybe not. Here he goes, going to blink on in before the bunkers are up and running. The probes being pulled forwards as well. And that Banshee is dealing so much damage to the tanks. Target firing down Stalkers so they don't friendly fire Marines by killing the probes. And there is going to be just too much from INnoVation. He will take down Stats. And he is going to go up 2-0. And he's going to advance.